you
Hey,
doing?
very well, very well. How are you?
Very well indeed.
Hello. Hello.
Oh dear, you're the only one who wasn't dancing, Sandra. What's up?
Um, because I was searching for something which I found.
Okay, so you were being constructive, were you?
Yes, I was. Yes.
Right, that's wonderful to hear. Well, hello everyone. Hello everyone. It's lovely to be here again. My
Yes, it
name is,
is.
yeah, let me introduce the show, please, before you start butting in. Um, my, my name
I
is.
thought it was a catch up. I didn't think it was a show.
Yeah, exactly. Hayes FM.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I knew it wouldn't take long. Anyway, let me just say my name and then leave it to those other two witches. Um, my name is Sylv. I am the eldest of the three sisters, and welcome to another episode of Sisters Hatch Up. Aren't you gonna say hooray? Oh, change. I got it.
Hooray! She got the title right. Hooray!
Oh dear. So yeah, who's next?
Hello. Good afternoon. This is Sandra, the middle sister. Hi. Glad to be back. It's been a little while, but we're here. And looking forward to a very interesting chat. I nearly said sure. Yeah. Chat.
Yeah, blame me. Go on. Yeah.
I do blame you.
Okay, go on. Come on,
And
Hayley.
over to you, the other one.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I'm Hayley, the youngest of the three, and I'm glad to be here, catching up with my sisters.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're here again. It's actually being recorded on Carnival weekend, hence why we started with a bit of a soca jump up. Family by Skinny Fabulous, Machel Montana, and Bunji Garland. So yeah, obviously because of being on what are we on YouTube, we can't play the entire thing. We may even get struck off for playing what we're playing now. But anyway, there you go. I've stopped it now. So yeah, we thought to ourselves, let's have a bit of a sort of a celebratory session today. Um, we've opted for a couple of topics, but as you know, we go with the flow. So although we've opted for these topics, who knows where this will take us? We know for sure that Hayley's got some surprises for us, some of her beautiful questions, which always throw us. But we also, I think, essentially want to reinforce the sort of importance of family, which is perhaps one of the reasons why we've not been around for a couple of weeks, because we've been enjoying family.
Indeed, indeed.
So let's go. Let's go.
Well, I'm sure we've spoken about an annual event, a camping, glamping event that we go on before on the Sister Catch Up. But if not, anyway, we go on an annual soiree to somewhere in the UK. It's been going for about 14 years now.
Wow.
Initially, something like that, 13, 14 years. Obviously, during COVID, we couldn't go. But it started off in tents. And believe you me, the first year that we went, I was convinced that I would be really good at putting up a tent. How hard can it be? But putting up a tent for the first time in probably 20, 30 years in the rain and the cold was no mean feat.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we started off in tents. We then progressed and moved into pods in the same sort of like campsites or glamp sites. And now we tend to have an annual event in a manor house, dormitories, and that sort of thing. So this year's soiree was in Gloucestershire.
Yes.
The Cotswolds.
Yeah, the Cotswolds. So we were there for a long weekend, and it was a fantastic time, as it always is. I don't know if one of you guys want to talk any more about what happened, but it was full of adventures. But yeah, so that's just
yeah. We had a grand old time, and what Hayley didn't mention was that we started off with when we initially started 14 years ago, or how many years ago, we started off with about between 7 to 10 families.
How many?
About 7 to 10.
Oh, okay.
Families, I would say. And then we now attract between 50 and 80 people a year. So, you know, it's grown significantly, but, you know, it's so much fun. And this year was absolutely fabulous because we kind of used the event, the forum, the space to really have a blowout and, you know, no holds barred. And we do have fun. So we partied for 3 nights. So you can imagine when I got back, I was absolutely shattered, but it was a good.
Still recovering now.
Still recovering now.
That 2 or 3 weeks on.
Yeah, 2, 3 weeks on. We had quizzes that were fabulous. We had an Olympic theme this year. It was great. We had poetry, performances. We did bushcraft, archery, sip and paint, clay and play. It was just fantastic. And the people who
don't forget our exercises, our morning exercises and line dancing,
meditation. It was fab. And cheer yoga. So yeah, it was just fun, lots of fun. And the people who attend, you know, we're all up for it. We give each other space, but we also come together for a good bonding and catching up. So I had a fab weekend and looking forward to next year.
You say we give each other space, but I also think that we give each other energy.
Yeah.
We give each other energy, and it's such a nice space to be in. And the size this year was smaller than last year, so it was quite. It's not intimate. It wasn't intimate, but it was a size that you actually had an opportunity to go and speak to everyone that was there. The younger and it's multi-generational as well, which is a beautiful thing. Because we tend not to have too many spaces like that these days with a wider group. Within your own family context, that might be doable. Yeah. But you know, it's just a beautiful space. It's just a beautiful environment to be in.
I'm as you guys are speaking, I'm sort of sitting here trying to think, why is it that it works so well? And you know, I mean, there are so many facets to why it works, because when we arrive initially, and we look at our accommodation, it's like, what? Staying in this old house. But you know, a few hours in, we just get into it, man. I mean, I remember last year it was a similar thing. We got there, the house looked so spooky. But within a couple of hours, we were well in there. This year again, the house looked like, my God, it's like a rabbit warren. You know, trying to navigate different directions of entry and where our bedrooms were and the bunk beds and but then within a few hours, we were all up for it. It's just a fantastic weekend. And I think one of the other big things, of course, is that, you know, we are in the majority, on the whole, a group of Black people who are trying to discover different parts of this country. And that's been going on for the last 14 years. And you can't pay for that, really. So it's just a great weekend. I don't know what anybody else thinks about. Why on earth does it work? How does it work?
I was just thinking, a big thing I didn't mention was our annual hike that we do. We tend to go on hikes when we go to our different locations. And this year, you know, true to form, we tend to get lost at different points of the walk. And I think this year was hysterical because we got lost.
As soon as we left the ground.
As soon as we left the grounds. We did find our way back, and you know, we went through kind of woodland and so on, but it's just lovely. And I view the gathering as a place to, you know, make new friends, meet old friends, and family, because we've got a lot of family who go as well. So, you know, we're like one big extended family. We've watched children grow up, you know, and you know, when they attend, they're kind of at school, and now they're at university or they're at work, and it's just been lovely just watching our young ones grow and flourish into fantastic human beings. So yeah, I love it. So I'm really looking forward to next year.
And I think when we were younger, because our communities were that bit tighter, we weren't as dispersed as we are. I think that happened more so than it does now. And that for me is another reason why I appreciate the weekends, because it, as you say, we've watched the children grow. We've watched each other aging and being able to do less than we did. And
some of us are growing exponentially.
Well, yes. And, you know, and yeah, I think it really, to me, it highlights, or it has the essence of community. And living in London, that is sometimes lost. But the weekend away reinforces that to me. And I think for me, that's why it works so well.
I mean, the other thing as well for me is that, you know, it was what 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2-3 weeks ago.
And every so often I will sit there and just smile because I'm remembering time 3 weeks ago we were doing this, that, and the other. So it does give you a fantastic feeling of, wow, we've done it again, and it was such fun. And you just kind of have smiles when you think about what we got up to. It was absolutely hilarious in parts. People just really relax. It's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, and also I think it's important to highlight that, you know, we're coming from different parts of the country.
You
know, and just meeting up with our northern family,
and our Midlands family. It's just lovely. It's just lovely just to kind of,
you know, bond in that way. So yeah, another successful year. And you say, Syl, you're sitting there smiling. I'm having kind of belly laughs. I mean, a video was made this morning by one of our young people, and she posted it on our group. And I started laughing again, you know, because you know, it was hysterical. So, you know, it's just memories, isn't it? You put it in the kind of memory bank, and then it kind of energizes you throughout the year when you remember the fun.
Absolutely feel good. Absolutely feel good. Feel good. You feel good when you remember it. You feel good when you're watching the antics we got up to. And for people who've come for the first time, that's another lovely thing too. Because we had some first time folks, you know, initially they arrive and it's like, what is this? Then within a few hours, they're down for the course, man. Oh, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So big up to our Ninda crew who do it year after year. Nothing complicated, nothing over the top, but just pure love. It's lovely. Absolutely lovely.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right, let's segue and have a little tune, and then we not too long a tune, but we're just going to play a little music, and then we'll come back. This is us trying to be a bit more structured. What do you think? Is that all right?
Yes, it's all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
I've got a question when we come back.
Okay.
So, let's go.
Let's play a little music. This, of course, we can play because it's that music without royalties.
Okay, so what question?
Okay, I thought the music was trailing off. So my question is, I love your background, by the way, Syl. I just wanted to know who are these three women at the back supposed to represent? I know which one I want to be. You lot can choose one.
Or I'll be the one with the glasses on. She looks like the oldest.
Oh, okay. That's the one I thought was me. All right, then.
She's the one looking the best, isn't it? I'll have the one with the glasses. She's the one looking the best out of the three of them in the background, isn't it?
Let me move aside. If you're listening to this and not watching, I've got a new background on my screen. It has three women on there, three black women, which I thought was representing my sisters and I, but they're fighting already about who they want to be. So yeah, there you go. Yeah,
well, nice. To be honest, they all look fantastic. But as I've got a headband on today, I'll be the one with the headband.
You can claim that one. So say you'll be the one in the middle, will you?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to be, aren't I?
Well, come on, the first one, she looks older. You got the lines down her face. So I'm taking that. I'm taking a hit for the team.
You're taking one for the team, are you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we believe
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, all right then.
All
Sorted
right.
then. That
All
was
right.
my question.
Oh, that was it, was it? Okay.
Yeah, that was my question.
All right, let's move on then.
Okay, I've just got a quick question to pose to you guys.
Here we go. It's the first of our surprises. Yeah, go on. Go on.
Now, it might be a bit sombering, but
Okay.
if you turned your phone off for 1 week and didn't contact anyone, who do you think would come looking for you?
Oh, that's a nice question.
Wow.
Now, yeah, let's leave it at that.
Ponder
on that one.
Yeah, it's interesting you're asking that question in this group, because we are fanatical as a family, as I'm sure lots of other families are, about the what. And one of the things we do every morning is contact each other.
Yes.
So if my phone was off for a week, I don't think that would ever happen, because
it couldn't last for a week.
Absolutely not. And I'm glad for that. I'm pleased about that. I'm grateful for that.
I think I'd agree with you. I'd agree.
So, and I do too. So that was a long conversation.
No, but it would be sombering if you had a different answer.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can think of.
Or you can't think of anybody who would come and look for you.
Yeah. That's.
Well, I think again, I think what Sylvia said, it wouldn't even last a week. I think if we weren't kind of in touch within the day, there would be some kind of frantic. Oh, have you heard from this one? Have you heard from her? Have you heard from her? Or heard from him? And then it would kick in. Someone would come and look on the day, I think.
What I'm hearing from Hayley though is suppose that was not the case.
Not the case, yeah.
And for me, I think all we can do in this space, I suppose, is empathize and imagine what that might be like. That is very somber. So I don't know what more do you want to say on that, Pearls?
Well, I mean, I think it lends itself to the conversation that we were just having about the importance of community and the fact that community from when we were children has changed. So it is important to community is the along with family is the backbone of our existence. So I'd just say that if you haven't got a community, work towards building one. I mean, because it's important, not just when you need them.
Yeah. And I was also thinking, which I think is kind of changing now, and we've mentioned this whole thing before about Ubuntu, which is this sort of African philosophical approach to life, and I think perhaps some of the Eastern traditions have a similar outlook, that we are interdependent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We are interdependent, and that this individualism which we have adopted, which is primarily underpinned by capitalism and the West, isn't working.
I mean, I think we don't have to think too far back when the pandemic hit.
What are you eating?
Oh, just a malt cake. Sorry, I just haven't had breakfast.
Okay.
So yeah, when the pandemic hit, and what we saw was isolation. In terms of a lot of people didn't have connections in that way with family and friends, and I actually volunteered to make connections with people during the pandemic, and generally it was the elderly, that were impacted, but also young people as well. And I think they're still young people particularly are still recovering from that isolation during the pandemic. So like you two, I do agree communities are important. I think depending on where you're located, particularly in the UK, it probably is easier to connect with and build communities. London is very difficult. London.
This place ain't easier, mate.
No, I said depending on where you're located in the UK, it's easier to create communities. So, for example, if you were living in a village, I think you would be more visible. If no one saw you, because people tend to be smaller, in terms of population, and people, they see your movements, and if they don't see you, then questions will be asked. I think London, again, a city, it's a bit harder in cities, I think, to kind of build communities. I think they could be communities within communities, but it's harder to build communities in cities.
Well, when I say community, I also along with that is connections, because you don't have to have 50 people looking out for you, but connections with one or two people.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah,
important.
Yeah, and community doesn't necessarily have to be in. You don't have to be in the same location.
Yeah,
because it could just be someone at the other end of the phone who's checking in on you on a daily basis. That's another thing. But yeah, it's important. It's very important, and we saw that during the pandemic.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, even when you of course we often have our concerns about technology and what it's doing to our society and so on, but there are some real positives. And when I think of WhatsApp, for instance, although we recently had a bit of a calamity with the whole scenario,
it was hacked.
one of our crew, their account was hacked. But that aside, even the sort of check-ins and I know some people are still very uncomfortable with it and refuse to actually get involved in social media or technology in that respect. But I really do value the reach that one can have.
Yeah, definitely.
We have family all over the place in Canada, America, Hong Kong, goodness knows where else. And it's just lovely to be able to every so often just check in with people. If something happens around the world, people will be saying, so are you all right? So are you all right? So it's just a really quick and nice way to sort of stay in touch.
Yeah.
We've got a community that's on Facebook, which, I don't know if, Sandra, you want to talk about that community that's connected all of us because of our parentage, our parents and our heritage and so on, the Wesley group.
All right. You're very annoying. But
wake up.
She know what I was talking about. What's she talking about?
I heard my name and I thought, why me? There's a few Wesley groups. I mean, our parents are from Wesley in Dominica. The one I particularly like is a group that kind of it looks at kind of genealogy and our kind of our
Wesley
lineage.
Past and Present.
Yeah, lineage.
Yeah.
And I love that because I'll give you an example. I've never met my great grandmother, and I was sort of flicking through the images on the group, because sometimes you get random pictures that people have inherited from their parents or their grandparents. So I've never seen our great grandmother before.
What's her name?
Maskefi.
Okay.
And Maskefi.
Yeah, and could you just say, for those who are not from Dominica, what that actually means? Because Maskefi is not her name.
Maskefi means Mrs. Skeffy. Her Skeffington. Her husband was called Skeffington. And when you're married to someone, and they still do it now actually, but back in the day, they rather than call you by your name, they would call you Ma, and then your husband's first name.
Thank you for that. Okay?
So that's explained. So her image popped up on on this Facebook.
Wesley Past and Present.
I'm not going to call it that. I'm saying a group on Facebook. Anyway, it was a very faded image, but I could kind of make out her features.
And you look like her.
You look like her.
I was going to say, whose eyes have I got? and it's her eyes.
Askiffy.
And it was kind of, it was spooky, but at the same time, it was like, my God, you know, that's where my eyes come from. And I always, when you know, our parents talk about family that I know I'm never going to meet and what have you, I always build an image of them. I always ask them, you know, what do they look like? Were they tall? What were their features like, and so on. But I never imagined her to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked like me, so that was lovely. So I love that. You know, we've got a few groups, Wesley groups, but that one in particular, Wesley past and present, is the one that I really love.
Big shout out to Woolworth.
Woolworth
for
raising it.
For raising it and keeping it going. He's absolutely fascinated by family and genealogy and so on. He's always asking questions, and it's really helpful to us because I think when we think about the stories our parents have told us, particularly our mother, you kind of think you've heard these stories, but you didn't actually ever think that they would ever materialize into something that you can say, yeah, this, that, and the other. So it's a great group to be part of.
And then not every descendant of has had that experience. I mean, our mum, her and her brother, Uncle Cuthbert, may you rest in peace. You know, they were very good at connecting families and the history and everything like that. Not everybody's parents are like that.
I mean, the fact that we are also educating some people who were born in Wesley because of the stories our parents have told us, particularly our mum. So yeah, we've got a lot of knowledge around, you know, who we're connected to and family and so on, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, shall we have some more tunes?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. This is all of us. This is all of us trying to be structured here. It's working, isn't it, so far?
All right.
Yeah, short and sweet. Probably the next track I play is going to be something that we all know. I think we're going to have a little bit of Sparrow, but not right now.
So this weekend is Notting Hill Carnival weekend.
It sure is.
Are we attending?
I won't be.
Huh?
I won't be.
Well, you never do you? I'm one of these stalwarts who attend Carnival annually. This is Notting Hill Carnival. I've not really been to other carnivals like Leeds and some of these other Nottingham. I've never been to any of those, but I definitely always attend Notting Hill Carnival. And today would have been a day that I would have attended. But somehow this year I'm not really feeling it, and I am wondering whether it's to do with some of the recent things that have happened in this country, or if it's just, you know, I'm just going to follow my mind. I've not entirely made up my mind about whether or not I will attend tomorrow. I often say, oh, can't be bothered. And then I find myself there jumping up and doing all manner of things. But
you have your T-shirt?
I do have my T-shirt. I normally get it when I get there. And I know I'm one of these lastminute.com people because I'm never sure. But I also collect the T-shirts. So that would be a good reason to go. But we'll see how I feel tomorrow. But I do love my carnival. I do love my jump up. I do love the opportunity to see folks I haven't seen in a year. And it does feel like a family thing. So yeah, I am a lover of carnival.
Yeah.
Carnival particularly.
I don't know if I'll go. I think it's unlikely that I'll go.
You know, you're not going.
But I may go on the periphery, you know, for the other action that's happening in Paddington. Okay. but I don't know if I'll be going jump up. I just find that the crowds just a bit overwhelming as I get older, and yeah. Even though when you get there, if you're following a band and you're in the band, then it's fine.
That's my thing. I will follow a Dominican band, but to say be in the crowd, I mean, the challenge, of course, is when you feel tired and you actually want to go home.
Yeah.
And I have a spot now that I actually exit, which is near sort of White City, Shepherd's Bush, because I do get tired, and I just think, you know, I've had enough of this now. Time for me to go home. But
head home.
Well, yes, but I start with the band at 10ish or after 10ish, near the that Kensal Road. Is it Kensal Road?
Isn't it near Sainsbury's, Ladbroke Grove?
Yeah,
not there anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. But not near Sainsbury's. The road that.
Yes.
Oh, it's Kensal Road.
Kensal Road. But we used to go to a club down there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Black Club, wasn't it? Was it the Black Club?
That's the one. That's the very one.
Yeah.
Drinking copious amounts of champagne. But anyway, we won't go into that one. That's for another episode.
Is it? Yes. I think for me, if I could just transport myself to the spot I wanted to get to, then I would go. But I just navigating, as Hayley said, you know, the crowds. And
where is that spot you wanted to get to? You'd want to get to?
Well, a place where I can stand and see. I mean, I think my last episode in Westbourne Park is what kind of put me right off.
Yeah.
Because we had some family from the States. I took them down there, and then there was this kind of people bottleneck, and then I felt myself being lifted off the ground, and I thought, you see this thing here, let me leave. And I've never really gone back as such, but yeah, I mean, it's a good vibe when you get there, and as you said, you know, you see people that you haven't seen for years, and that's a nice thing about you know, all the smell of the food and cooking and the music and so on. You know, it has a good vibe. So I'm not saying that people shouldn't go. Just that I personally
not for you
find the crowd a bit overwhelming, but it's a good crack if you can get in there and kind of get your spot or follow a band. Following of a band is something that I kind of discovered back in the 80s when I went to Carabana in Canada, because a lot of our family were are musicians and so on. And I remember when we went to the carnival with them, and it was a completely different experience when we followed the band and you were part of it. You were on the floats and so on, and that made me understand that carnival isn't about just standing still, listening to a sound system or something, as we used to back in the day.
When we were younger, that's what we would do.
It's about being on the move and really getting into it with with the other revelers. So yeah, it's a great event. Obviously you have to have your wits about you and everything else, because it's over 1 million people that emerge on Notting Hill, Ladbroke Grove, Westbourne Park, and all the rest of it, over the weekend. But it's an experience, absolutely.
Yeah, and there is always the element of those coming younger people coming to look for trouble as well. We can't ignore that. So that's also a bit off-putting.
But
it's a huge event, though.
To be fair, I mean, I've been going consistently for many years, and there are a few plonkers, but an event that's so big, it's a relatively minuscule part of it. But if you don't like crowds, and if you feel claustrophobic, or if you feel tense when because you do get up close and personal at times, it's certainly not for you. But there are people who they stand on the sides, they watch the parades as they're going by, and then they leave.
It was good when I used to live quite nearby.
Yes, that was a great spot.
Well, yeah, so you just take a little stroll down to the carnival. I when that was the case, I went more.
Why you move?
From the time. Sorry.
Why you move? I don't know. What watering hole.
Life.
Oh yes, that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I remember, on a couple of occasions, Harry and I have walked back. Walked back from from Carnival up the
Yeah.
Harrow Road. God, absolutely exhausted.
To a nice hot meal and drinks and everything. Yeah. Cinderella in the kitchen.
A little gathering as well.
That was what I really appreciated. The after party.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
That's what I really appreciated. I really appreciated that. Yeah.
I've got another question for you guys.
Okay.
You get to invite one person to a restaurant. And if that person complains, you're given £1 million. Who would you invite?
If that person complains?
Yeah.
You.
You'd invite me?
Yeah, because
I
guarantee you're going to moan about something. So,
no, Hayley, no, I'd invite Mummy.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I said.
Hands down, man, I'd be quids in. I'd invite Mummy.
It's a no-brainer.
Oh, but actually, no.
No-brainer.
The question should be, in a way, I mean, Mummy would probably get you the £1 million sooner.
Quick, yeah.
Quick. But Hayley would be just as effective, I think.
I was saying,
I don't think he moans at restaurants.
I was saying either Mummy or Sandra.
Oh yeah, because she's always hard up in it. The veggies always get a rub.
Yeah. She wants something to complain about, and she's vocal about it.
All right, a fast third would be Daddy.
I don't know.
Daddy just wouldn't come.
That's true, actually. Yuck. Yeah, it's true. Actually, you probably just wouldn't come. No, I'm not going anywhere. Leave me. I'm not going anywhere. Leave me alone. Well, that's a quick question, wasn't it?
Well, that's it. Mum or Sandra?
I would absolutely say Mummy, and then Sandra comes a close second, and then.
Can you not close my files?
No, but it's true though, isn't it?
So I know I don't know more than Hayley.
But you've not really supported it with an abundance of evidence. We have absolute evidence on a regular. That it's either not enough, or the vegetarians get a rough end of the stick, or they didn't cook that properly, or I could cook this in my home for far less money, and that's just the beginning.
Or just trying to hustle. I mean, it doesn't have to be a restaurant. I mean, just complaining. And no,
don't call me. Don't say that.
Excuse me. This isn't. Come on, sir.
No. I speak my mind. When I go, I expect a certain type of service. In fact, I shouldn't really blame the restaurant. I should blame the people that I tend to go for meals with, who want to organize the event. Because knowing that I'm a vegetarian, why would you pick a restaurant where? Here I go. I'm moaning. Why would you pick a restaurant?
We have the evidence
where you don't have variety,
because it's not all about you.
No, it's not all about me. But my nephew, for example, and I'll name him, my Adrian. Adrian always considers his auntie when we're going out, because he's like that. He's thoughtful.
Well, you're trying to get props.
He'll invite people out. I'm talking about my nephew. He'll invite people out, and he will consider who's coming and who's in the group. Not you two.
I ain't got time.
So when you invite people out, you invite people who are carnivores to a vegan or vegetarian restaurant.
We're subjected to no meat.
I don't want to be vegetables. You always say, unless you're being deceitful and hypocritical.
Sorry,
as I've said to a few of my vegetarian friends, and you want to eat little meat, drink little brandy, and live life. That's what you want.
Make yourself look happy.
And make yourself look happy.
Well, I don't rule out the brandy, although I can't drink much these days.
Yeah, you see, here we go. And then when she's eaten the vegetarian meal, a couple of hours later, I'm hungry again,
She doesn't even say, you just see her grazing on something else.
That's right. Oh, goodness. All right, should we play another tune?
Please. Yes,
now, we're going to have a little bit of Sparrow, and this one is called The Lizard. Like this one.
Oh.
With a lizard in a glass, the lizard get away from root and run by the teacher.
Teacher, dress on that she dress, boy. taking her as the way she jolly and happy. I'm sure the lizard must be tickling.
Okay, there you go. There you go. A little bit of Sparrow for you. The lizard didn't play it all. Time is really, really pushing on. So let's.
Sparrow he's just an amazing artist,
timeless,
isn't
he?
Let's
He's just amazing.
big up Sparrow, man.
Yeah, the mighty Sparrow.
The mighty.
Big up, big up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have another event that we want to discuss that we attended last weekend, and I don't know who wants to kick off talking about that particular event. I've talked about it ad nauseum on my radio show, but Hayley, perhaps you'd like to kick us off with our donor fun day.
Yeah, I think it was I only got the tail end of the actual event last weekend, but I think it was said that it was the 46th annual fun day.
Yes, it was.
And I remember back in the day, it used to be in Scrubs, a park in West London, Scrubs Lane. And now for the last, I don't know how many years, 10 years or so, maybe more, it's been in a park in East.
Was it that many? Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been doing
it's been a fair few years.
Yeah.
And it's lots of fun. It's the Dominica Overseas Nationals Association annual fun day. So there's lots to eat, lots to drink, catching up with people that you haven't seen probably throughout that year or beyond. Yeah. And I haven't been for the last few years, and I went this last weekend, thoroughly enjoyed myself. The setting was lovely. It was an outdoor event, but the way it was set up, it was almost as though you were walking into someone's garden.
Yeah.
There was this sense of, it was just a nice space to be in. You felt protected, you felt guarded, and it was just lovely. So as I say, I only got the tail end of it. Had some nice coconut drops, had some ginger beer, homemade.
Where do you get the coconut drops from?
Oh, there was a lady selling it there. And won a couple of things from the tombola. Daddy won a couple of things, and as I was nearby, he gave them to me.
Yeah, we heard.
But yeah, a lovely event it was.
Let me just tell you, sharing is caring. So you need to share some of those prizes that you got.
Yeah, I'll go through what I don't want, and then I'll pass them on.
So sad. So, do you have any comments to make about the event? Because you were an integral part of it. You were the first. You and Sharon were the first people.
Yes, we were the greeters collecting the entry fee.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it was fabulous. I mean, what helped the event, I think, was the weather was lovely. It was,
so helps.
Yeah, it wasn't intensely hot, but it was a lovely day, weather-wise. It was very well organized in terms of, the stall holders who attended, and we had a guy playing the steel pan, and that was lovely. And of course, Sylvia was there with her radio station and played some fab music. And I think, if I have to be absolutely honest, that's probably one of my best ones that I've attended, and I've attended most of them. Because I think the music was lovely, and what because it wasn't sort of too kind of rowdy, it gave people an opportunity to sort of sit, chat, and you could hear what people were saying. The kids had we had an entertainer that came, a children's entertainer who spent time with the children. Yeah, it was lovely, and of course our obligatory tug of war. And unfortunately, the women lost this year. But I will say, the only reason we lost was because a lot of women didn't join, and there were some burly men, on the other end. And
they didn't win easily.
They didn't win easily. No, they didn't. But we had a lot of children on our side, girls, and a few women. Well, we gave the men a run for their money, but it's worth mentioning we tend to win every year, so we kind of gave them a little bly this year, and allowed them to win. So yeah, it was really great, and yeah, I'm like a stuck record. Looking forward to next year.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, God spare, God spare. I think my only slight regret when I review the event in my mind is that I should have got out a bit more to speak to people. But as you know, with the technical preoccupations of getting things to work, I had two of my colleagues from Hayes FM assisting me, thank God. You forget that what's also nice is for people to, because it was being broadcasted live, the event. What would have been nice is if I'd got out a lot earlier and spoken to more people who attended. But I spoke to a couple, you being one of them, Sandra, as I accosted you on the way.
It cost me, yeah.
Yeah. But aside from that, I echo everything that's been said. It was a really great event, and we didn't anticipate it was going to be that good, because in previous years, when the weather's dodgy, it affects and impacts attendance. But then there were lots of children. That was the other lovely thing.
Yeah.
That really gave it a sort of a family feel, and we put on something specifically for the children, which we absolutely must do each year. Because I think that really helps. I mean, when we first started, we used to have little races, and sometimes I used to feel slightly uncomfortable about that, because it was kind of competitive, and then kids would get, they'd be in tears if they didn't win anything, and blah blah blah.
Nothing wrong with a bit of healthy competition.
Yeah, as you would say. But I think having a sort of a children's entertainer, which really helped to bring them together, I think a much better approach.
Yeah, I mean, Dominicans came from all over London, and that was lovely as well.
Yeah.
And I think we said it on the top of the program, this whole thing about reconnecting communities and family and all the rest of it. As our parents' generation kind of move on, transition, I think that whole thing around family and the connection to Dominica will, obviously dwindle to some extent. But so it's important to kind of try and keep connections going, because it is a very kind of a strong. It has a strong Dominican emphasis at these fun days, and and I think there's a pride that I feel when I'm there. This is where my parents hail from. I'm connected to this country, and all these other people are as well in some shape or form, even if they're just partners of Dominicans or whatever. But it's lovely. I think I met at the door, and the thing is, because I was greeting people, I met a couple of guys who separately, they weren't connecting anyway, but they were from Portugal, but married or partnered with women who were of Dominican descent. And I thought that's interesting. Two Portuguese guys have no connection, but they're connected to Dominican girls or women. So I thought, maybe that's a thing.
Did you introduce them to each other?
No, because they came at different times.
Okay.
Obviously I was staffing the
front gate. You had important duties.
I couldn't leave my post.
You couldn't leave.
Okay.
So I didn't. But I kind of clocked it and thought that's really interesting. But yeah.
Fascinating. So a quick plug: if you are around in London or wherever you happen to be next year, and you want to pop down to the Dominica Overseas Nationals Association event, please feel free to do that. It was lovely to see so many people. We had a representative from the Dominica High Commission who, Nakinda Daniel, who always gets herself involved. She was involved in the tug of war. We still didn't win, but hey, it was good to
big up Nakinda.
Yeah, big up Nakinda. Yeah, you tried, girl, you tried. So yeah, and well done to the team. We're a very small team, and it's lovely when we can at least ask members and friends and family to help us out, which was fantastic as well. So thank you, Sandra, for your services, and thank you, Hayley, for attending and bringing our father along, who thoroughly enjoyed himself and reconnected with his peers. Lovely.
Yeah, it's nice. And I mean, we're talking, and it's like the last 2 weekends before, what we talked about, and then this weekend, Carnival weekend, and then after Carnival weekend, we're kind of heading into fall, aren't we?
Oh, God. We're not there yet, Hayley. Come on now.
No, but you know, I've really enjoyed the last few weekends.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt, I've been thoroughly enjoyed summer, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
It started in July. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed summer.
And I just wish summer in the UK was a bit longer. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it's a bit longer.
I can't disagree. I cannot disagree. And you know, yeah, may the good times roll. But
well, yes,
yeah, I do love me some summer. And the weather. What would you say about the weather? It's not been too good or too bad, or
it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, we've had a few really hot days, but you know what? I think we should, but at this stage, we should know where we are, and we know Britain doesn't. You know, it's a hit and miss, and I think as long as you kind of you have an awareness of what the weather's going to be like, you dress appropriately, you know, you can have fun in summer, winter, spring, or fall. I mean, it's just a case of getting on with it. So you know, we know that when winter comes around, we've got sort of Christmas on the horizon, but there's also things that that we will do leading up to Christmas. So you know, theatre or indoor stuff. So let's keep the energy going.
Absolutely, we've got a theatre trip this weekend, haven't we?
Yeah, I just hope you two don't walk out.
No.
Because we've talked about that, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, I'm not promising anything. You know what stance is on that.
No, I've heard it's good.
Yeah, didn't our girls go and see it? Didn't Stacey and I think Stacey and Kelly, did they not go and see it?
No, Stacey went to see it, I think. But
okay.
Stacey went with her friend, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably not Kelly's cup of tea, to be honest.
But we can discuss the play when we're back chatting.
Yes, we definitely can. We can do.
We'll let you know.
But I think the important point that you've raised there, Sandra, is just because the fall is rolling around the corner, continue to make the effort to do stuff, be in connection with people.
Yeah.
And enjoy your life. It's far too short. Too short. Short.
That's a good note to be ending with, isn't it?
Yes, it is. An absolute great note. I'm going to end with a little zook now. But any final words from either of you two sisters? Oh, clearly not.
Well, no.
I think we've ended it nicely. Keep on going, never give up, and find your joy in everything you do.
Yeah,
absolutely. Here. All right, guys, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Until then, let's have a little bit of zouk to take us out.
So long.
So long.
Será que já chona pra boa? Me jogo fica longe, que por cubo. Tem que controlar a situação. Nos ligação, está sem direção.